Things that happens in meetings is you have something to say. You're a part of the meeting. You're not necessarily running the meeting. We'll talk about small and large group presentations in a minute, but you have something to say. You're in a meeting and it's hard to get the words out, right? And if you have someone in the meeting who's a talker, or if you have a couple of people, and you usually have at least one, maybe two, and they're going back and forth, they're taking up what we call airtime. So a person who's a little more introverted, or a person who stutters, it's going to be very difficult for them to jump in, right? So what do you do about that? Well, here's what I've done. First of all, let's talk about the attitude. Attitude is that you believe that you have something valuable to contribute. When you go into the meeting, know that you are a valuable part of the team, and that when you speak, people are going to listen. And we'll talk about how you do that, but you have something valuable to contribute. How do you get yourself to that point? You prepare. You know what the meeting's about, and as much as possible, and you prepare yourself. You have the information, you have your notes, so you're prepared. Make sure that you're constantly developing yourself as well. Become an asset so that you feel more confident, you feel more knowledgeable, and when you speak, people do listen, right? So that builds your confidence. So just know and believe that you have a lot to contribute. Know that when you speak, people are going to listen. Be sure that when you do speak, you have something important to say, right? Don't just talk to be talking. All right, second thing that I used to do, here's a specific technique that was more attitudinal, is I used to raise my hand. I still do it now. If people are talking, I'll raise my hand. Sometimes they'll ignore you and they'll keep talking, and then you have to use another strategy, right? But raise your hand. Raise your hand. And whoever's running the meeting may let those people talk for a while, but eventually they'll see you and they'll go, let's let Michael has a question here, so it gives me the floor. All right, and you go, well, now all the eyes are on you. So what do? Well, you prime your pump again. You say, yes, what I was going to say was, so you use a primer word. These primer words or phrases or expressions are going to be very important for you to get the pump, your speech pump, flowing. And flow and rhythm is going to be very important for you to start developing your own speaking style, where you're no longer thinking about the words you're going to say, you're not thinking about stuttering, you're just flowing and you're speaking. Okay, but in order to do that, you have to prime, you have to get those words out. So when you raise your hand and they call on you, then say yes, and just start speaking, right? And make sure that you know what you want to say. All right. The other thing is, don't be afraid to slow down when you're speaking. Don't feel like you have to speak fast. For some people, speaking fast helps them stutter. For other people, speaking too slow helps them stutter. So you have to find your right speaking speed, but don't worry about slowing down a little bit. Don't speak so that people fall asleep on you, but you don't have to speak real fast and get your words jumbled and so forth. So just take your time and speak in short sentences, because if you're speaking at a slower rate of speed, then you don't want to have have a long comment that you're making, right? So you want short sentences. Take your time, relax, prime that pump. The other thing that I mentioned earlier is use your hands to assist you. Just like I'm doing now, just like you see me doing now. Use your hands to assist you in speaking. And then, which I already said this, just find those little words or phrases that you can use to get you started. That's very important. All right, so what you do in meetings is you go in, you believe that you have something powerful, something of value to contribute, and that when you speak, people are going to listen. You prepare yourself for that meeting, but you prepare yourself in life in general so that you do have something to say, right? By reading, by listening to audio, by watching video, doing whatever, taking classes. Prepare yourself and raise your hand. Use primer words. Use shorter sentences, okay? Let's take a look next at reading aloud. And this was a struggle for me, for a long time. Past the time when I stopped stuttering, I still had a challenge reading aloud. And I still don't really like to do it. If someone calls on me to do it, I don't like to do it. I will do it. So we're going to talk about reading aloud.